Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the After Hours Gaming League Semifinals #1 between Amazon and Microsoft. My name is Day9, and once again, as we go to the team standings, we are seeing that #1 ranked team Microsoft against that #4 ranked team Amazon. As this is the semifinals, whoever can pull a win off here will be advancing to the grand finals in Facebook on Friday, August 19th, down at Facebook HQ. Let's hop directly into game number 3 as we have Penkin from Team Amazon against NATO from Team Microsoft. NATO, whoa, what part of Amazon are you? TAM! I don't even know what TAM is. Thank God for NATO asking all the salient questions. Seller support. Well, TAM is a great place to work at Amazon as well. Go Yuma! Whatever Yuma may be and may mean to Penkin, NATO almost certainly will be directing his assault in that direction. Now we do see Penkin planning down his first pylon. NATO, one of the Terrans that came out the gate, given some solid games, occasionally shirking a loss here or there. Can he pull the win off for Microsoft right now? Penkin giving the ha-ha, these players, though it might seem like they're friendly. Well, they actually are. They actually generally come on conference calls and just discuss the league with us, and they're really friendly with each other, which is kind of awesome. But either way, for the next 5 minutes, we are going to view them as ruthless, bloodthirsty rivals because they are playing in a video game that you and I know and love. And there's that first barracks being planted by the Microsoft Terran. Only Microsoft Terrans at this point in time coming out, with the exception of course, 1/3 of the games. There's the Amazon Itasi now in full Proby retreat, but notice how he departs right as he runs out of shield. He's going to try to maximize damage without losing any hull, so that way when his shields are charged, he can whip back around and begin doing the ever so brutal zap, 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 and there it is. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Oh no, if NATO lost that one SCV, it's down to 10 life. And the Amazoni Protoss is going to be pulling back. Now, if I'm the Amazon Protoss in this circumstance, I'm going to be feeling a little bit uncomfortable. It is close positions. We've been seeing that one base all-in style from the Terran be oh so effective. Oh my god, he gets surrounded! The poor probe from Penkin got bullied after school by the nasty SCVs of the Microsoft Terran NATO. But Penkin's dad has a lot of influence with the principal and could send them to detention. We're going to find out very soon from the Amazon Itasi, who is now building his very first zealot to approach the front lines and defend his entrance for glory. There's the first SCV now popping in. It looks like this is the first attempt of NATO to spot everything that is going on in the Amazon Itasi's base. He's doing a dart to the right and a dart to the left. And look at this formation. These are not the correct buttons, you guys, but you know what? We're still going to take advantage of the opportunity. Let's see NATO make that shape again. A remarkable feat. Look at this. He's creating a 3-dimensional planar graph out of this amazing movement. Now NATO from Team Microsoft is seeing everything that's going on in this base. Continuing to create DA. My god, DA. Y9, that is the ugliest rendition of my name I have ever seen, Microsoft Terran. That is hideous. NATO from Team Microsoft. I am going to create the most beautiful Excel spreadsheet with a thumbs up for you, my friend. And here it is. Look at him dance around the curves of my name. We also have a warp gate and a sentry coming out. But as he continues along the voluptuous A and on to the 9, can he make it before the Zealot encounters? Oh my god, he can. My curves are inescapable. Inescapable? Ladies and gentlemen, inescapability. Well, he lived a good life and knew how to party hard. And now we do have a push coming in from the Microsoft Terran. My god, he might be my favorite player of the league thus yet. And NATO re-walling himself in. A command center incoming. An interesting one barracks push that we haven't seen for quite some time. StarCraft 2, and he's thrown out the force field! And he does it! And it looks like he will end up... Oh, and he takes it down. And it looks like the Microsoft Protoss in a total crisis management mode now that all of these Marauders do have maximum concussive shellage. They can do the kiting and the running and the moving forward and the moving backwarding. But uh-oh. NATO knows that near-dead Marauders are on the verge of being dead if continuing to engage in battle. Penkin, the Amazonitasi, has a pair of gateways up. Looks like he wants to be going for a 2-gate plus Stargate build. We may have been able to see this Stargate get thrown down earlier, but there was a much more distracting, incredible typography set popping down at the right side of Penkin's base. Extra gateways plopping down. He is now getting the sentry up, and we see a healthy amount of barracks units coming in for the Microsofty Terran. He macros hard and microsofts. And there's NATO now pulling back with those weakened units, the Microsoft Terran, making sure to keep maximum unit retention. Does have his orbital command coming up into full bloom, and there it is. Head towards the sun, mule towards the work line. NATO now beginning to do the very classic 3 barracks mixture of units, but we do have a Void Ray incoming from the Amazonitasi. Getting ready to do a little bit of dat-threatening warpage. And now we see more Marines popping up. For any of you who don't know about the Void Ray Warpin trip, you can build a pylon on low ground and then Warpin Zealots 3 at a time up on the high ground with the use of all your warp gates, and it is quite hard for the barracksing player to deal with. We do see some nice kiting micro going on. He has to be careful. He doesn't want to lose this. And he manages to pull it out just in time. Another barracks plopped down by NATO. The Microsoft Terran wants to make sure he has a successful defense, can withstand any sort of pressure he's up against. And it looks like an interesting choice, the Amazon Toss going for the Nexus on the other side of the map. This is a style of play that we haven't seen much since the GOM TV team leagues, where many of Protoss would sneak away to the faraway corners and instead rely on sentries at the ramp to keep themselves alive. And of course, with the map coverage gained by these Void Rays, it looks like the Amazonitasi is in comfortable position to get himself into an abstract win situation. Now we do see NATO, the Microsoft Terran, planting down all the essentials, engineering bays, more Marines, a factory, 4 starports, which gives him medevacs, and a Twilight Council coming in for Penkin. Now, one of the most important laws of Protoss is when behind, build DTs. Most of the time, this works perfectly, and when it doesn't, you just think, I should have gotten DTs faster. The 2 Void Rays now assaulting the refinery at the right side. This is actually a pretty important structure for NATO, as he only has 1 geyser at this point. We do see the charge up. He needs to try to get on the other side of the smoke. The Marines taking some pretty huge hits, some nice control by the Amazonitasi, but be careful! There's so many units coming out of Microsoft. There might even be a stack overflow of Marines hanging out in the main. There's the blink getting researched. Looks like Penkin. I actually really like this play. The blink can pop down to low ground and back up to defend this Nexus at the bottom corner. Very much how Protoss vs. Protoss plays out when one player gets the blink stalkers. There's the swap going down, and if NATO begins to get any Vikings, he could begin putting some massive pressure after killing off these Void Rays. We do see the Amazon Toss not quite ready to move in, with double geysers down and an extra depot. Have you ever gotten supply blocked, thrown down the supply extra depot, and then immediately gotten supply blocked again? It certainly doesn't feel good. But there's the extension forward. We see NATO moving down. The Amazonitasi getting more and more stalkers. Has those sentries there to block the ramp. Now successfully chrono boosting out quite a few probes in the accounting station. We see Protoss actually ahead of Terran in terms of that worker count, but if we look at the overall army value, the Terran does edge out in the mineral a little bit, but look at the Protoss army actually looking quite healthy at this point in time. These Void Rays are doing quite a bit of annoying harassment, and what a Protoss player would love is for that Microsoft Terran to overstim, to be one of those guys that gets the roid rage and just spams the T button, click, click, click. Can I kill him off? No, actually. You deal damage to yourself. The 3rd geyser now planting. Medevacs beginning to be produced for the Microsoft Terran. And uh-oh, the Amazonitasi moving in towards the refinery. It wasn't repaired. It's under some serious damage, and the Marines are not going to be able to do anything at all. Does the Microsoft Terran know about this far southern expansion? He does. He knows that there's a vulnerability here, but how exactly do you exploit it? It's very difficult to actually decide where to move your army at this point. If you move towards the main, they force field the ramp. If you move towards this bottom side, well, they can blink up and counterattack the front of your base. And after they've killed that off, just expand to their own freaking natural again. There's the +1 attack being planted, +1 armor being very popular, but with Blink Stalkers you can control so well that sometimes it really is about the damage. NATO in mass marine production mode. There's a Viking out right now. And we do see, oh my gosh, a drop landing down perfectly in the south side. And Penkin doesn't have a warp-in cycle, and there now finally is able to begin warping in a couple of more units, but he is quite low on the minerals. And it looks like the restim by NATO. And meanwhile, the Amazonitasi just going for the push at the front. There's actually not that many units there. A big stim by NATO if he can get some key force fields here. And there's the force fields cutting up those Marines and Marauders at the front lines. It looks like NATO's trying to engage, but Penkin taking an absolute beating. Oh no, he was on a move command, the Microsoft Terran, ripping everything apart. More Blink Stalkers are warping in, trying to get the retreat down, but the Marine Marauder force a little bit too great. But who said that DTs weren't what you should do when you're behind? Who said that? Certainly not I. The bottom expansion for the Amazonitasi getting picked apart. NATO, that Microsoft Terran looking oh so strong going into the late game. As we can see the double medevac production upcoming for NATO. And if he could take the win, he will bring Microsoft to a 3-0 position, a single game away from entering into the grand finals. It's what many people expected with a slogan like macro hard Microsoft, and with an ability to pen my own name at this right plateau. So many expected Microsoft to do well, and they are delivering on that promise. But it looks like NATO going to be playing passively. He's held off a huge attack. He's killed off an expansion. All he needs to do is deny more bases. And it looks like the Amazonitasi's technique is going to be to hide yet another one. Looks like he just wants to play it out as, riskily as he can at this point. Take the huge opportunity to plant the Nexus here at the right if somehow it does get, if it does remain hidden for a long point in time. He will be able to mount the beginnings of a comeback. We do see the assimilators from Penkin really needed to get more and more gas in as the Dark Shrine is getting produced, but it looks like NATO's going to see it. If he can target fire it and take it down, that'll be absolutely super important. And there it is. He's target firing the Dark Shrine. Oh no! The ticket to winning for the Amazonitasi gets eliminated. Penkin rebuilding the Dark Shrine immediately. The Blink Stalkers, can they take it out? He needs to blink underneath it and maybe get a few extra hits. He doesn't manage to do it. And planting down, interestingly, another Nexus. I actually think that this is the correct play at this point when you're a 1 base against a 2 base and the Terran player is in a dominating position. You need to take huge risks to step forward. The Microsoft Terran up at 125 food, the Amazon player down to a paltry 48. And for any of you in the chat who are curious, these are employees of the actual companies proper themselves. Oh no! Looks like the Amazon player, who does indeed work on the seller end of things at Team Amazon, he has been spotted. Right now, he is completely naked on the field. He has a base here, he has a base here. But those DTs are getting awfully close to finish now. If NATO's been planting down those mules right on the money, he will not have that many scans. But my goodness, NATO actually has plenty. He's unloaded up on the high ground. He's going to get ready to stem and rush down. There's the stem. And the guerrilla tactics, the spirit of select flows within you, NATO, as he's splitting up another small force to go into this expansion. And we see the pros being transferred. Oh no, that's like accidentally having the bus full of children dropped into a volcano. That's not where children go. Both expansions taking a lot of heat at this point in time, but the probes, the small children fighting back against the lava, and they're successful. Wow, Amazon never has underestimated a busload of children before. Now Penkin getting ready to remount a large assault. We do see the Dark Shrine is out. And in the unit counting station, we see a single DT on the field. There's the blink back. And there's the DT. And the natural expansion starting to rack up a good amount of kills. This could be huge. We do also see the scan going down, trying to make sure he can maybe take it out. The bottom expansion is what Penkin really needs to worry about. The DTs, oh my gosh, the comeback king. Oh, it gets scanned, and he is taken out, annihilated. Death in cold blood. The Zealots advancing forward. The Guardian Shield gets thrown down at a good time, but the Amazonitasi is running a little bit low on options. The Microsoft Terran feeling a wholesome urge to end the game relatively soon as medevac count quite high at a very nice 7. The main looking extremely low, but you know what? NATO gets how to put on a show. We have 2 Ghost Academies. You know what both of them will eventually have? Well, the nuclear missile. And if you're bad at guessing, look, there it is. There's the nuke silo getting armed. One Marine here saying, hey, Ghost Buddy, if you actually stand here and shoot there, you'll get a cameo appearance on Day 9 TV. The medevac from NATO that was doing the harassment oh so long ago is continuing to remain in the bottom half side. A 3rd command center from NATO. Why expand to the center gold when you have a gold? I want to be underground and go for minerals that not a lot of people know about, the regular old blue kind. Penkin checks and is going to be popping out at the wrong time. And this giganto force from NATO looking very, very intimidating. There's the lift from NATO. And he's advancing towards his 4th on the right. And now he's moving forward. It looks like he's going to line that timing up right with 1 nuke, 2 nuke. 1 fish, 2 fish. Red fish, nuke fish. Up in the center, will he plant the offensive nuke? The huge EMPs go down. We see 1 ghost now taking down by a single deep sea. The push from NATO at the only mining expansion. A pair of Blink Stalkers cannot withstand this army, even if they are under the control of E.G. Huck. And there it is, the good game. And it looks like Microsoft is going to be able to once again hold on to that undefeated spot. They are 3-0. If they win 1 more game against Amazon, then Microsoft will be at the grand finals of the After Hours Gaming League at Facebook headquarters on Friday. Amazon, on the other hand, is going to have the uphill battle ahead of them. They have to win 4 consecutive games to go to that grand final. What'll happen? Find out literally right now on the After Hours Gaming League with me, Day 9.